I tell people, the people in that room, nobody put a gun to their head and said, okay, you're going to go attend this presentation and we're going to lock the door and not let you out until it's over. There was something about your title, the abstract describing the presentation, something about your bio, your backgrounds, something made pique their interest and made them want to come hear you speak. As if they're in that room because they're interested in hearing what you have to say. And they're in your corner. They're
Yeah.
not there to judge you. It's not going to be like the Olympics where you're going to hold up a sign, 2.0 or whatever. You know, they want to hear what you have to say and they want to see you succeed. And they want to walk out of there saying, I learned something, even if it's just one golden nugget. I learned something today.
Welcome to episode 5 of the Evolving in Toastmasters podcast for the Journey to You website. I'm here with a guest, Allie, who I met through Toastmasters at the Bel Air Toastmasters Club. Now, Allie, at that time that you joined the Bel Air Club, where were you working? What were you doing?
Well, I've had my own business since 2013. So I do a little bit of everything. I do marketing for small businesses. I do freelance writing, like ghost writing blogs and LinkedIn articles and things that small business owners want to do, but they don't have the time. So it's just one of those things that keeps getting pushed to the back burner. It's like, oh, I know I need to have a blog, but I don't have time to write stuff. So I write it for them, do a little bit of training, do a little bit of video marketing, and my passion is the leadership and public speaking coaching.
Very cool. Sounds like you got your hands in a lot of different jars. Um,
Keeps
and
things interesting.
Yeah, yeah. I find when you can do lots of different things, it keeps things interesting. It keeps you motivated and keeps you learning new things.
Yes, definitely.
All right, so with the Evolving in Toastmasters podcast, our idea is to take some lessons away from what we learned about Toast through Toastmasters. But before we get to that stuff, I wanted to get to know our guests a little bit more. So we had some fun questions for you. It's going to be kind of like table topics,
Boy.
where I'm going to give you a topic that you're kind of surprised about, and you can take as much time or as little time that we can talk about it. We can go back and forth, and then we'll get through a few of them before we get to the Toastmaster questions. So we're
Okay.
gonna start with a simple one. Which one do you prefer, dogs or cats?
Dogs, definitely dogs. Cats are too snobby.
Yeah, I have both, and I have to agree that the dogs are a lot easier to uh, get along with, maintain, play with, have fun with.
Yeah. Cats don't come running to the door happy to see you when you come home at night.
I have one that's a Maine Coon, and he's more like a dog. So he's our fourth dog.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe
Uh,
the dogs trained him right.
yeah. But he's like a cat where if he gets in your lap, you're not going anywhere. Yeah, he's a fun guy. All right. Um, let's go to the next one here. If you're gonna give a book is a gift, what is the most likely? What is the book you're most likely to give?
Well, my first inclination, and I have two books that I would give actually. First one is I would give them a Bible because my faith is very important to me. And the second gift I would give them would be Atlas Shrugged by Ayn Rand. That is my favorite book, and especially uh, it can be. I like it because it can be taken two ways. It can just be taken as a mystery novel of what's happened to all these people, or you could look at it as a philosophical novel about sign of the times. So you can get out of it what you want to get out of it, and I like that part.
Yeah, I've read a couple of Anne Rand not books, and what I really like about her style is that you just get thrown into this world that something's happened, society's completely changed, and you have to learn about it. So two excellent book choices there. Let's move on to what is the nicest thing anyone's ever done for you?
Oh, well, my husband passed away in 2014, quite suddenly and unexpectedly.
Sorry.
And it, thank you. And I really appreciate, and I never forgot how kind the people who rallied around me. I was left with some hefty medical bills. Financially, I was in deep trouble. And I had friends who, uh, gave me money to pay my rent. So like, oh, with everything else going on, I don't want you worried about whether you're going to have a roof over your head. Here, I'll lend you the money to pay your rent, or here's some money, go buy real groceries instead of shopping at the dollar store. You know, so I mean, I never forgot that how people just really supported me and helped me out, and I still thank God for those people every day.
Yeah, it's definitely important to have other people in your lives to pick you up when you're down, to support you when you need it, to make those meals when you don't have the energy for it, or you're too busy,
Exactly.
or something's got you down. Yeah, that's certainly a nice community that you have for around you.
Yes, I've been very blessed.
All right, now what movie, if it's on, can you not resist watching?
Oh my goodness. I love movies. So that's like asking a parent who their favorite child is. Oh my. What movie can I not resist? Well, it depends on my mood.
Yeah, I definitely
But
have
I will,
5 or 6.
yeah, yeah. Um, well, Gary Oldman is my favorite actor, so I'll just say any movie that has Gary Oldman in it. I will stop to watch.
When I was growing up, there's TV stations that some of them would just run movies all day,
Mhm.
and I'd probably watch Karate Kid once a week.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely.
That was one of my favorites, and every time it was on, I just finished it. Could
That
not do it.
I know what you mean. That is a good one.
All right. Let's get a little more philosophical here. You've written your autobiography.
Mhm.
What do you title it?
Here I am, world, like it or lump it.
Lump it? Now we're gonna need a little explanation.
Like it or hate it. Let's put it that way. Mhm. Here I am, lumps and all.
Lumps and all. All right, that's good. Um, yeah, part of my autobiography that I wrote on my Journey to You website was, you know, I here's all the things that are great about me, but here's also all my flaws. Here's all the bad things that have happened to me or by me, like things that I've done that I'm not super proud of, but I'm going to be completely honest with you. This is who I am. This is what I've grown out of. Uh,
Exactly. So
so
they can like it and lump it too.
that's a great philosophy. Awesome. That's one of my favorite questions to ask people, so I make sure I slip it in. All right, we're gonna get one more. What is the proudest moment of your life so far?
Mm, proudest moment. These are tough questions. Wow, the proudest moment of my life. When we had the COVID shutdown, being a widow, um, I didn't quite know what to do with myself. wasn't allowed to work because businesses were shut down. So I used that as an opportunity to go online, and I got my master's degree.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, I got a master's degree in a year because I had nothing else to do.
Yeah, congratulations. That's
Thank,
amazing.
thank you. So I'm very proud of that. Very proud of that accomplishment.
Yeah, having a master's myself, I know it's no easy task. It took me 3 years. So,
Yep.
yeah, I was working the same time. So, yeah, writing that thesis took some uh more elbow grease than I thought I would ever put into something.
Understand. Yeah. Mhm. So I was glad when I got that piece of paper. Like,
Awesome.
did it.
All right, so let's switch gears now. Let's get into that the Toastmasters topic that everybody's waiting for. Um, First, do you remember what brought you to Toastmasters? What brought you to the Bel Air Club?
I had just moved to Bel Air and I thought, well, I want to meet some people and make friends and get to know my new hometown. So I went on Meetup and said, well, what kind of groups are out there in the general area? And I found Bel Air Toastmasters met like literally a mile and a half from my house. So I thought, well, I'll go check that out. I've heard about Toastmasters, don't really know a lot about it because I've never attended a meeting or anything. So I just went over there one day and said, hey, what's this Toastmasters thing? And sat in a couple meetings as a guest and eventually joined.
Yeah, I heard Meetup was really successful for them, so it definitely brought you in. And
Yeah,
amazing how sometimes proximity, the convenience to be able to practically walk somewhere, it can make things more accessible.
yeah, yeah.
All right, so w- what specifically convinced you or compelled you to join?
Well, the first thing was the people. Everyone was just so friendly and so welcoming. And um, Joe Fleckenstein was, I think he was club president at that time. And he just kept staying in touch with me because I went for a couple meetings as a guest. And then I got a job, a consulting job in Northern Virginia. So I would leave Sunday night and stay down in Virginia and then come back for the weekend. So I wasn't able to go to any of the Toastmaster meetings because I wasn't in town. But Joe stayed in touch with me every few weeks. He would email me, hey, how's it going? When do you think you're going to be back? Oh, we'd love to see you at the club again. And it was just that personal touch of, hey, we haven't forgotten about you. We really appreciated you stopping by. And we hope you stop by again when you're able. This job is over and you're back in the Bel Air area for good. And and I really appreciated that. It wasn't pushy about it, but it was just, hey, we'd love to have you, every couple of weeks. When is your job going to be over? Because we'd love to have you back.
That's really great. Joe's perfect at doing that kind of stuff. He works as a security guard at the in the building I work in, so I see him every day, and
Hmm.
he's always wanting to chat everybody up as they come in. Um, and he likes to make that personal connection. So he's really great at that. But definitely when we're bringing new people in, making a personal connection, making them feel part of the group, um, giving them some involving them in what the the club is doing is a great way to help them get draw them in, get them associated with it, get them familiar, orient them, but also keep them connected, even if they, take a little time between meetings, because 2 weeks for most clubs is a long time for people to just forget about the club or what they were doing. Um, and then you were gone how many months?
I was gone about a month and a half, 2 months.
That's an
Yeah,
extended hiatus for a new Toastmaster. So
yeah,
I'm glad Joe was able to keep in contact, and he's a great guy. So
he is. He's still a very good friend of mine.
all right, so we got what you brought you there and what compelled you to join. But what did you want to get out of it? What did you want to learn for speaking skills, leadership skills?
Well, I already was a proficient speaker because I had to speak a lot for my job when I worked in the corporate world before I started my business. And I always enjoyed public speaking. I was never been nervous, never, it's like, boom, asked me to give a presentation, I'm there. I belonged to a professional organization for a while, so I spoke at national conferences and symposia. So I was accustomed to public speaking. What attracted me was the leadership side of it, because when people think of Toastmasters, they think of the public speaking. They don't realize that there's also leadership skills that are involved. And through Toastmasters, I served in several offices while I was in the club. I was up to, including being club president a couple times. And I found that to be the most beneficial, is being able to hone those leadership skills, because especially the soft skills, the communication skills, those kind of the emotional intelligence skills, those you don't learn in school.
Yeah, right.
That's on the job training.
Yeah, you can't learn those in a classroom. You have
Yeah.
to practice. You have to do them practically. You have to have a group that you're leading so that you can see where you are, uh, and then measure. All right, this is what I need to do to get better.
Hmm. So that interested me.
Yeah, and Toastmasters does have a lot of leadership opportunity between each meeting, with all the roles in the club, with the club leadership, with the district leadership. If you want to go up and um, lead in a bigger capacity, instead of just the members of your club, now you're in charge of 3 or 4 clubs with 10 to 20 members in each, and making sure all their needs are met. And then there's higher up, you can go and help run the conference, and those are big opportunities for people that their career revolves around that kind of stuff. So I'm glad you were able to find stuff that you can get out of it.
Mhm.
Having already been proficient with public speaking. Now, what's the largest group you've spoken in front of?
I would say maybe like 200, 250 people.
That's that's quite the crowd.
That's quite a
Yeah,
crowd.
and that was in person.
Yes. Yes, in the ballroom.
Yeah,
Not intimidating at all. No, not at all. Not at all. Piece of cake.
yeah. I'm not really thrilled about doing something that big, but I know if I get there, I'll do just fine.
Oh, you sure would. I've seen you speak. You sure would.
I prefer, you know, smaller groups, 5 to 10 people. I think that's where I can make the best connection with people.
Mhm.
Um, but at my black belt test, there was probably 50 to 60 people in there, and worked the room pretty well with the 10-minute speech, then ran something for my project. So, and that was just 2 weekends ago, 2 Sundays ago.
Um,
So that was my latest experience with a larger group. I think the biggest group I've done is 100, and that was for the district conference. I was doing the humorous speech contest.
oh yeah.
So we talked about uh, what you wanted to get out of it with growing your leadership skills. Was there you mentioned communication, like soft skills, communication, and emotional intelligence. Um, what did you learn, and how do you apply that today?
Well, being a consultant, I go from company to company, to job. So I think the one thing that I learned is how to uh, relate to different teams, because every project I have, it's a different team of people. It's sometimes at a company I might not have ever consulted at before. So I have to learn the personalities. I have to learn how they all fit together and get them all working together, which can be a challenge. So I think a lot of the leadership skills that I learned at Toastmasters really helps me do that in my business as I work with teams. I also think that um, when I work with coaching, on the coaching side of things, when I'm coaching someone in public speaking, it also has helped me be able to meet them where they are. And a lot, sometimes, not all the times, but sometimes it's amazing to me how people have this mindset of, oh, you're supposed to be scared of public speaking. You're supposed to be nervous about public speaking. And so folks will come to me and say, I want to be more confident in my public speaking. I don't want to be nervous. I want to be more confident and get up there and dazzle everybody. And I say, all right. So we start working together and I say, okay, um, let me help you practice your speech. Let me see you do your speech. And they do their speech, and I'm like, you are so much better than you think you are,
Right?
and sometimes it's applying those leadership skills to coax it out of them and help them to see that they actually are a very good speaker already. They have a firm foundation. Might be some things we need to work on, but they're nowhere near the level that they think they are.
Yeah, people tend to be their worst critic.
Exactly, exactly. And it's like, no, look, you did this really well and you did that really well. And okay, you kind of did that well. We can work on that a little bit, but you're almost there. And they're like, you're kidding me. I thought I really was awful. It's like, no, actually, you're pretty good.
So yes, people are their worst critics. Um, and what I've learned is that there are a few things that help you build confidence and help you recognize um, that or recognize where you already have confidence. And the first one is that you have to recognize or realize that the audience wants you to be successful.
Yes.
Once you're in that mindset, everything's going to be a little bit easier.
I,
Uh,
I
the,
tell I tell people, the people in that room, nobody put a gun to their head and said, okay, you're going to go attend this presentation and we're going to lock the door and not let you out until it's over. And if there was something about your title, the abstract describing the presentation, something about your bio, your backgrounds, something made pique their interest and made them want to come hear you speak. As if they're in that room because they're interested in hearing what you have to say and they're in your corner. They're
Yeah.
not there to judge you. It's not going to be like the Olympics where you're going to hold up a sign, 2.0 or whatever. You know, they want to hear what you have to say, and they want to see you succeed. And they want to walk out of there saying, I learned something, even if it's just one golden nugget. I learned something today.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. And the second confidence trick is to only talk about things you know really well. If you
Hmm.
start talking about something you don't know as well, it's going to show in your voice that you don't know it as well. It's gonna show
Exactly.
in your posture. Your body's going to betray you, and you're not even going to know it. So a lot of time people try to memorize a speech, and then they'll speak different from what their speech says, and that'll trigger them because they'll realize, oh, I didn't say what I wanted to say, and that'll trigger them to um, the nervous butterflies that really hit them, and then they start to shake or sweat and all that stuff, and then
Yeah,
they lose the confidence. I tell people, speak about what you know, internalize your message, don't memorize it.
exactly. Exactly. Because then it just comes off very robotic. It doesn't come off as natural. You're
Right.
not speaking in your natural way. Or you want to make sure you don't forget anything. So you talk twice as fast as you normally would just so you could get through it. So just in
That
case,
was that's
you don't
number
have,
3, slow down.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. Because then you will trip yourself up.
Yep. You slow down, you'll eliminate your filler words because you'll be more thoughtful. You'll give your audience time to listen and
Mhm.
contemplate what you're talking about.
Exactly. Exactly. All very good points.
All right. Let's get another question here. All right. So what do you feel you accomplished in Toastmasters that pushed your career forward? Like really gave it a push.
When I was in Bel Air Toastmasters, I mentored several new members, and every single one of them went on to win a speech contest at
Nice.
either the club or area level. The only one who didn't was a young lady. She was a very good speaker, but she got a new job that had such a horrendous commute that she could never make it back to Bel Air in time for the meetings, and she just ended up dropping out. But she would have won a contest if she had continued. I have no doubt in my mind. And so I realized that I had a little bit of a gift there to coach people and mentor people and help them improve their speaking skills. And so that's what motivated me to go back to school during COVID and get a master's in human relations with a uh, focus on life coaching. And after COVID, when things started to get a little bit more back to normal, that's when I introduced the leadership and public speaking coaching to the services that I offer through my company. Because I just realized that, you know, I was pretty good at teaching people how to speak and guiding them through that process and seeing them succeed at something like that. Like, walking out with a trophy and going, you rocked it.
Sometimes we don't realize they're gifts until we're using them.
Exactly. Yep. That
Um,
is a very true statement. That is a very true statement. And it was the same realization on both sides where I was saying, wow, I'm really good at helping people become better speakers. And they were walking away going, wow, I'm a much better speaker. I feel more confident. I am doing all the fundamentals, the hand gestures and floor space and all that stuff. It's becoming second nature to me now, because I was in that no judgment zone, a safe space where it wasn't judgmental and it was a positive critique, It wasn't, oh, you're awful. You're not, it was, okay, this is what we're going to work on. What if you did it this way instead of that way? So it was never, you should do this. It was always, well, have you considered doing this? Like, oh, that feels so much more natural, or oh, I really like that. All right, well, and let's incorporate that into your speech instead of this other thing.
Right. It's coaching is more about the advice you give and the suggestions and just pushing people in the direction that uh, that they were already going, just give them a push so they can get there faster
Mm-hmm.
instead of instructing.
Exactly. And the way I and I approached this when I was mentoring the Toastmasters members, is I would say, okay, what do you think you need to work on? And they would say, oh, I want to be more confident. Okay, what does that look like to you?
Yeah.
How do you define I am more confident? What has to happen for you to walk away at the end of that presentation and say, wow, I felt more confident? And it could be, I was able to sleep well the night before because I wasn't worried about it and driving myself crazy, going over every scenario, what could go wrong. So I got a really good night's sleep and I was able to eat breakfast because my stomach wasn't in knots. Like, okay, that's the goal. That's what we're going to work towards. Not this, oh, I want to feel more confident. It's like, no, we're going to work towards the day you call me up and say, I just gave a presentation. I slept like a log last night and I had a breakfast that would choke a horse. Then we know we accomplished the goal.
You got to be able to measure that goal and understand when it's accomplished. That's right. Um,
Yeah. Smart
drill
goals,
down,
smart
drill
goals.
down, and make it specific.
Mm-hmm. And something that they can relate to. It isn't, a very generic, oh, we're going to practice these breathing exercises, or we're going to do this, or, picture everybody in their underwear, whatever it is. It's like, no, this is what it means to you. And so we're going to create a plan that is going to help you achieve that.
Awesome. So glad you can give that gift to people, and help people out with their speaking skills and other things that they need in their life. All right. So, do you still do Toastmasters? And if you do, why? Why do you continue? And if you don't, why not?
I don't do Toastmasters right at this moment because I got involved in a few other activities, one of which was also taking place on Thursday night, which was when Bel Air Toastmasters met. And it also was a factor of when, again, COVID happened, we tried to have virtual meetings. And I mean, I'll be honest with you, hardly anybody showed up
Yeah,
because it was very
experience the
hard
same.
for them to adjust to having a virtual meeting and be able to do the speech the way you can when you're live and you're standing in front of the room. It was hard for people to evaluate this. You can't see their use of floor space. You can't see how they're using their hands. And so it just kind of waned. And during that time, when we finally went back, it, it like I said, I had gotten involved in a few other different things. I got on the board of a local nonprofit. And so I kind of had to let Toastmasters go for a while, but things are kind of starting to loosen up a little bit. So I'm hoping to go back um, in the
Great.
near future.
Yeah, time conflicts or you know, and priorities change. So and COVID in the virtual meetings just it was very different. This is a different skill, speaking on camera,
Hmm.
and speaking in person. It's completely different because a lot of time you can't even see your audience.
Hmm.
Uh, with our meetings, we would, have everybody on camera. So you could see everybody and you could see people's reactions, but they're on mute. So you can't hear them laugh, can't see them, you can't hear them applaud. Um, my work meetings, nobody's on camera, completely different. If you're
Hmm.
doing a training, you're just looking at slides. You don't even see the person speaking. It's a completely different skill to speak virtually than it is to speak in person.
It is, and
Yeah, it was great to get
I
practice with
find it
that
hard.
when it happened, because then I wouldn't be doing something like this. I wouldn't be interviewing people because I wouldn't have developed this skill at all without COVID and to bring us into virtual meetings. So it was a bad thing because it affected a lot of Toastmasters clubs membership. It drove people away. Um, because and at the same time Toastmasters changed the education system, so it was like two things just kind of fighting against each other, and people just like, I'll take a break, I'll come back when we're back in person, maybe.
Yeah, yeah.
People are Some of those people are drifting back in.
And that was the same thing too, is that people got out of the habit of having that it's Thursday night, I'm going to Toastmasters.
Yeah.
As you know, oh well, now it's Thursday night. We decided Thursday night is family game night, or I'm doing this other thing on Thursday, or I'm enjoying just kicking back and watching Netflix. And so, as you said, it was hard to get some of the people to come back because their life just took a completely different 180-degree turn, and they were used to doing other things on Thursday nights. And it was just, well, I don't really want to do Toastmasters anymore. I enjoy just kicking back with my family, watching Netflix or having game night.
Yep. Yeah, COVID, it altered people's schedules, altered the way people thought about Toastmasters, uh and hopefully they'll recognize hopefully more people will recognize I was getting something out of it. And that's kind of the idea of this podcast, is remind people, hey, if you were in Toastmasters and you were had a goal, you were trying to get something, you're trying to learn a new skill, what was that and why was it important? And maybe you'll recognize, oh, I should go back to that. I should go try that again. I still had more room to grow. And if it's
Mhm.
not Toastmasters, maybe it's something else. Maybe it pushes you to pursue something else where you're going to get those skills or where you're going to apply those skills. But
Mhm. And you might recognize that, your original goal, excuse me, your original goal maybe doesn't apply anymore. Maybe you have a new job now and you have to, maybe give it different kinds of speeches, or maybe now you have to give speeches in front of larger groups, or you have to give a speech to the CEO, or something may have changed that now what you need to get out of Toastmasters is different than when you did it before.
yep. Yeah, COVID was 4 years ago. So
Yeah,
people have been
that
out
was a
of it for some
challenging
time.
time.
All right, so we're gonna wrap this up. It's been great talking to you, Allie. We learned a lot about your experience with public speaking and leadership, coaching other people, mentoring Toastmasters, and helping them win contests. It was amazing. That's amazing. But um, and what you've gotten out of it, learning about emotional intelligence, communicating, and then learning that you had this amazing gift to coach and mentor. Uh, and change kind of changing your career course.
Yes,
So
that
thank you
was
for yes, thank you for coming on the podcast. Um,
thank you for having me. This was fun. I enjoyed it. I'm glad you invited me to be a part of it.
I'm hoping all our viewers that we get will learn from your experience, and your answers help current and future Toastmasters have a better experience and reach new heights. So that's all for this episode of Evolving in Toastmasters. Um, Thank you for listening. Like, subscribe, do all those things. Check out the blog on the journey2.org website as well. And hopefully, I'll be interviewing you in